Once again, I, like most Kentuckians, am disgusted and angry to be in this position. Once again, it's the morning after a legislative session has formally come to a close. And once again, critical business remains unfinished. The reason is a familiar one to Kentuckians: Senate President David Williams. Senator Williams is so wrapped up in winning what he sees as a political game here in Frankfort that he's willing to turn his back on the needs of our people. In essence, he forgets why he is here. Yesterday, our Senate President not only refused to pass routine bills to keep the state operational, but also torpedoed essential legislation designed to protect the health and safety of our citizens. The General Assembly had only two items that it had to pass yesterday to meet the requirements of this session: a transportation budget and a road plan. The House passed both, but the Senate passed only the road plan. In a demonstration of political gamesmanship at its worst, Senator Williams adamantly declared that the Senate would not pass the highway budget until I signed the road plan first, without even reading it. For the record, that road plan is 398 pages long, and it includes brand new projects just added yesterday at the last second. As the senator well knows, the Constitution gives me 10 days to sign bills, and it does so for a reason. I have an obligation to thoroughly review the road plan, a massive bill, to make sure all projects are in the best interest of our taxpayers. And how can I do that if I don't even know what funding accompanies those projects? To attempt to make the transportation budget conditional on my blind approval of the road plan is a ridiculous political maneuver that insults the businesses and families of this Commonwealth. Numerous senators from both sides of the aisle last night told me that they were ready to vote on the transportation budget, but they didn't get a chance to. Senator Williams still seems to think this is some sort of personal competition. He still thinks that it's acceptable to push the state's business to the 11th hour, to hold bills according to his personal whim, and then, when reasonable people don't acquiesce to his wishes, to throw a temper tantrum and go home with business unfinished. But folks, to Kentuckians, this is no game. The Transportation Cabinet's $2.4 billion budget not only includes all funds allocated to build and maintain roads in Kentucky, but it also authorizes snow and ice removal, traffic management planning, bridge inspections, and many, many other necessary services. Those projects create jobs in every county, ensure safe roads for our families, and protect and promote commerce not only within our counties, but also among our surrounding states and our region. As just one example, this budget also includes funding for the Ohio River Bridges project, a project of enormous importance to our state and our economy. For 40 years, this project has been stalled. But in the last few years, because of the incredible cooperation among Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels, a Republican by the way, and myself and our respective staffs, not to mention local government officials in both states and business leaders, we're close. We're preparing to choose a design build contractor so that we can begin construction this year. But now, we have no new funds authorized for those critical bridges. Isn't a 40-something year delay in building these bridges long enough? Why would a person sabotage that effort? I'll tell you why, and it's simple. It's called personal greed. Personal greed. When Senator Williams received the funding plan for the road plan, it already included $288 million in projects for his district. $288 million in projects for his district. Over $130 million of which was to be funded in the near term. But that wasn't good enough for Senator Williams. He made some last-minute fine print changes that moved another $155 million of those projects in his district ahead of those in other communities around this state. He wants to guarantee that his projects would be finished first at the expense of others. And his worry, he said, the reason he held up the plan, the budget, was that he was worried that I would veto those changes. In other words, he was worried about himself, not this state. Another victim of Senator Williams' willful inaction is House Bill 4, a bill with broad bipartisan support that would have immediate impact in reducing the devastation caused by prescription drug abuse. Folks, the whole state knows that prescription drug abuse is causing untold misery among our families. It's robbing our economy of productive workers. It's filling our jails, our hospitals, and our treatment centers. And it's draining our state budget of resources that could be used to fund classrooms, put police on our streets, and create jobs. In a nutshell, prescription drug abuse is wasting away the future of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We had strong support for the many elements of House Bill 4. Many representatives and senators from both parties, Democrats and Republicans, worked very hard on this bill. And we had agreement on that bill. It was ready to be passed in final form. All of those folks have seen among their own families, their friends, and their communities the horrifying effects of prescription drug abuse. One survey showed that 1 of every 3 Kentucky adults say that they have friends or family members who have suffered from misuse of prescription pain relievers. Every day, 3 Kentuckians die from drug overdoses, a rate of 82 per month. That's more than those killed on our highways. But Senator Williams willfully ignored the visible misery of our communities and allowed this essential bill to die. Why? Because of his road projects. How many issues, how many legislative bills, how many families must be sacrificed to feed our Senate President's political ego? We can't wait a minute longer to strengthen our response to this epidemic. Since the beginning of this year, more than 400 Kentuckians have been hospitalized because of prescription drug overdoses. Every single day that we delay is a day that more Kentuckians will die from prescription drug abuse, that more families will continue to be torn apart by this scourge. That's why I am adding elements of House Bill 4 to the special session call. Ohio, Tennessee, West Virginia, and Florida recently all passed legislation tightening regulation in their states. If we don't follow suit, Kentucky risks becoming a source state for the diversion of prescription painkillers. I realize that. Our experts realize that. Most of our legislators in the House and Senate realize that. But one man doesn't. I thought that voters sent a clear message in November. Quit the games. Stop the power plays. Work together for the good of all Kentuckians. Apparently, almost everybody got that message. The only person that didn't was Senator Williams. Now we're forced once again to call a special session that will cost the taxpayers of this state $60,000 a day. Since Williams assumed the Senate presidency in 2000, the Kentucky legislature has been ordered into special session 4 times because of failure to agree on budget issues. Those sessions cost Kentucky families and businesses nearly $2 million and put more pay into Senator Williams' pocket. Come Monday, we're going to have to add to that figure. And folks, that is inexcusable. Come Monday, I expect Senator Williams to be here to finish the work that he was elected to do. It's time finally for him to put the people before himself.